It looks like it's happening this time. Okay, well, we are live. Christine, good afternoon. Streamyard has given
Hey,
some trouble
hey,
today. It bumped me out and bumped me back in and took all my things off. But we're here. Yes, on
we
another
are here.
Monday with
Yes.
another topical topic. We're trying to stay in the loop and keep others in the loop, have our discussions so that YouTube will see us as being relevant and promote our video, right? So I'm gonna stay the course. Please, people, those people keep sending me emails and messages about getting subscribers to me. I do not believe in cheating, so I'll not be doing that. I will get my subscribers organically. Okay, thank you very much. So thank you for our subscribers that we have already. Thank you for those who will subscribe after listening to us today. Thank you for those who listen to the replay of this video. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to this channel where we chat about relevant topics. We try to keep on top of what's happening in the news, and then there's always something topical and something nice to talk about that concerns women. Because it is a channel for women. Men are welcome to listen in if they want to, but it is a channel primarily for women. That is the message I got from the good Lord above, and I'm sticking to his assignment for me to deal with women. So today we have a topical subject to talk about, and some people may not like it. We will keep our language and our things in the keeping with YouTube's what they
Okay.
require, their guidelines, so that we would not be booted off or penalized in any way. But we're gonna keep it real as usual. So I'll just do our intro, and when we come back, we will introduce ourselves and we will begin our topic of today.
Today.
Okay? Oh yeah, so there I am. I am Cheryl Diane. Cheryl Diane, so if you want to be nasty, you know. And I am an international keynote speaker, an author, a trainer, an image consultant, and I'm trying to change that a little bit. I really want to change the title from just image consultant. Because many people kind of get carried away with the image and they think it's only clothes. I do holistic training. So I want to change it to like holistic image professional, change it up a little bit because I deal with everything, the mindset straight down from nose to toes. So that's who I am. I wear many hats. And this is my friend, Christine. Christine, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Christine Francois, wellness coach and accountability partner, former banker, corporate communications executive, and a host of other things we won't go through right now, but also a serial entrepreneur. I'm happy to be here at yet another Monday with what I think is going to be a really exciting topic.
Right. Yes. And women, young ones, middle aged, and older ones, listen to what we have to say today. Because I have been, I follow current affairs. I'm not one of those people who feel, and I think sometimes I need a new batch of friends for like chatting, not friends for friends, not my tribe, friends for chatting. Because a lot of times I speak to other women and they don't know, they never heard of, and I kind of wonder what do they listen to? I mean, what are they doing that they don't know what's currently happening in the world? So I was listening to a couple, and it's not a new thing. It's been around for a couple of months, I think. But I think I know, because the young lady is now in prison. A young woman by the name of Courtney Clenney. And she caused me to go and Google what an OnlyFans account is all about. I was very interested to find what that's about. Because if I could make millions to buy a house for $1.2 million and put 1.2 million in my father's account, put a sort of millions here and put some millions in, and rent a $10,000 a month apartment in Miami, then I want to know how that money is being made, if it's legitimately being made, right? And I found out that OnlyFans is an app that was created in 2016 where content creators can share content, like, art and dance and adult content and whatever, his videos and everything else. But so I saw some of her thing, not I didn't go into her OnlyFans account. I just looked at some of the things she had on her Instagram account and stuff, right? And what I saw, the typical young woman with the makeup on and the eyelashes and the bleach blonde hair and the fake bum and posing all types of how. What I'm saying, so what are people, where's the money coming from? And apparently subscribers pay to look at these people. So I'm guessing, maybe I'm naive, that there's more to these pictures than I saw. Because she became very, very rich in a very quick space of time. A story, as I'm sure lots of you will know about her, is that she came from seemed like a decent family from Texas, and she dropped out of college because she felt that her pace was moving kind of slow. Okay. One of those kind of young women who see people up here and don't know about the bumps and the different twists and turns in life that people go through to get there.
Yes.
You know, even if you're born from a family with money, there's still things to do in your life to get to where you want to get. But a lot of people, because of the influencers, because of the person they see on YouTube and on Instagram and on Patreon and everywhere, they think that everything happens just like that. And they want to get up tomorrow morning and not have to go to school like I did, part-time, be married with a baby, going to university part-time, study and drop out, start back again, drop out, start back again, drop out, and then finally decide to go to the course and to get a degree. And I did it because I felt as though every time you're talking to people, everybody has a degree, you have a degree. So I kind of wanted to just like really match with everybody else. That was my reason back then. Now I know better. And the thing is, I never even used the degree. That's the truth. Never worked for anybody in the management to say, well, you know, I've been doing my own business for many, many years. I'm an entrepreneur for many, many years. But I have it. So now I can say I have a degree, just to say you have a degree. But some of them don't want to go through those bumps and those highs and lows and different things in life. They just want to get it. So she decided to get into this OnlyFans thing, and pretty quickly she rose to fame with a lot of money, and apparently she had a preference to dating rich black men, and one of them I understand was damaged with a knife by her. I think I could say knife on YouTube. And he did not report it because he was married and he was having an extramarital affair with her. And then there was another one who something happened between them, and he got enough kahunas to move away and leave her alone. And then she met other young man. I can't pronounce his African name. From African parents, very nice people, seems like, from what I've heard about their background and son, his home and everything else. And he was educated and was doing very well for himself in the stock market and different things. And she met him, and he, you know, in Trinidad, they were saying he probably swallowed when he should have spit out. He probably swallowed something because he was head over heels for her. And I believe she went down a path of maybe she's overwhelmed by the money, because what people have said is that she changed over time, became very aggressive, became hanging with some of the wrong people, drinking, getting high on different substances, I guess, and doing things that she shouldn't be. So she became very aggressive in life. And their relationship was tumultuous, to say the least. It was horrible, horrible, horrible. There are videos to show it. There are recordings of things she said to him. There are recordings of her beating up on him, a big, strapping, tall young man who refused to hit her. Kudos to him. He's no longer with us, but I tip my hat to him that he was well raised. He never raised his hand back at her. She was totally, totally off the walls. And 2 days before all of this happened, she tried to put him out of the apartment they lived in Miami, claiming that she was the one paying the rent. What she failed to say is that he was a resident there, and it seemed that she was paying the rent because he gave up all of what he was doing to sort of manage her business. So it wasn't that she was looking after him and he was a no good doing anything. This was the arrangement that they had. But for whatever reason, she tried to put him out because he had spoken to a girl when he went on his bike rides, and he didn't tell her he spoke to the girl, and she forgot he spoke to the girl. And he was trying to explain to her in a recording that all he did was say hi to her. He saw her on the path and he said hi to her. So there was nothing to come back to say to her that they had had a conversation or something like that. There was nothing to report then. But she kept on going and going, and he could hear her being physical with him, hitting on him and cuffing him and doing different things to him. And he left the apartment. And apparently there was a little sitting room right next to the elevator in the building. It was a very posh building, $10,000 a month. And he slept on a little chair in there for like about 2 nights. And then she called security because he tried to get up back into the space, must get his clothes or something like that. She tried to call security, but the guy at reception said he could not do anything about it because the guy lived there. And once you're a tenant there, they can put you out. He didn't violate anything according to their thing. And there's no report of her saying that he did her anything. So the police was calling, and that's all recorded. Because the police were there with their cams on and everything else. And they were recording this whole thing. And she wouldn't even allow the police to speak. They started trying to speak to the concierge, which is the guy who works at reception there. Not the guy, the concierge. And she kept interrupting because she wanted to say something. She kept asking, can I get a restraining order against him before he gets one against me? And the police officer saying, you have to go to court together. But she kept interrupting because she seemed as though she felt like it seemed that she was entitled, that she just wanted to have this done. Just wanted to have her own way. And she kept shouting and getting in between. And, she was very erratic, not moving back and forth and carrying on. And they were trying to calm her down. Anyway, they got the concierge. He said his piece and he said, listen, there's no report of this man doing anything in the building. He lived there. They could put him out. That's against the building rules, against maybe the rules in Miami. You can't put somebody out of their home just like that without them violating some kind of whatever it is. Anyhow, whatever happened that day, that recording went on. They reconciled later that afternoon. Maybe the SCX was good. I don't know. They reconciled. And he was back in the apartment, but it didn't last for very long. An altercation ensued later on in the day. Some argument about something again, and she picked up a weapon. She said she threw it at him. Maybe she looked in a circus, but the pathologist said that could not have entered his body. The number of inches in near his heart that could not have been thrown. It would have bounced off his body, and it had to be at close range where it was literally plunged into his chest. And then she panicked and started to call. She called 911, and you could hear on the first and the thing calling and saying, oh, come quick. And they keep asking her what's her name, where she gave the address, and he could hear him in the background saying, I'm bleeding. Oh my God, I can't feel my arm. I'm dying. You could hear him saying that. And eventually he stopped speaking. By the time they got there and they took him to the hospital, he was no longer with us, right? She didn't know that. They took her because they took him in an ambulance and they took her to the police station because of course she had committed a crime. And she kept trying to say that she just threw the knife or whatever it is. And in the middle of all of it, the police officer decided to let her know, well, I think his name was Chris. Chris something. It was a long name, but they called him Toby for short. And he told her, no, well, he is passed. And she started to scream. And she was getting kind of very erratic, right? The thing about it, just before all of this happened, she just purchased a $1.2 million property. Fancy home with a swimming pool and everything else. And she had transferred another similar sum of money into her father's account. Her father claims he does not know what she did for a living. He wasn't aware she was doing that after everything came out in the media and everything else. And the strange thing about it is that I find that he has to be the biggest liar. I don't know the man, but he's a liar. Because let me tell you something. There's nobody who could make that kind of money in that short space of time at 20-something-year-old, putting that kind of money in your account, taking care of family and all of that, without doing something totally illegal. And you did not know that she was doing something either illegal or something really strange and nefarious, right? She was into something that wasn't normal, right? My point in the whole thing, before I give Christina a chance to say something about this, is that it goes back to some of those parents who just collect things from children. It goes back to people like Macaulay Culkin. Maybe he had to divorce his parents. He was a little movie star and they just kept living off of him. And recently we had Britney Spears being removed from her parents' citizenship because of that. They just lived off of her for many, many years and just kept her in a place where they wanted to get. And there were many other movie stars who started off very young, who had to run from their parents. These parents who would turn a blind eye because they're getting things. The Bible said that the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money. The same Bible also says that money answered all things. So it doesn't say we shouldn't have money. It doesn't say we shouldn't want money. But people need to be careful what they do to get money. Because I believe her lifestyle tried to play with her mind. The attention she was getting from the people whoever was subscribed and paying all this money to her, but have all these millions in her account, got to her mind. And she didn't know how to control it. Because suddenly came from here and all of a sudden you're up there and getting all this adoration. So she wanted the man, but she also wanted to control him. And she also wanted to beat up on him whenever she felt like. Because one of the last thing when they were going into the apartment, you should see how she was just punching him and pulling his hair and beating him up. And he was just trying to fend her off, trying not to raise his hands at this young woman. And I want to say to young women who want to get rich fast, there's no get rich quick scheme. You either end up in a scheme with somebody taking all that you have from you, you end up in the wrong end of society, or you end up like Kim Kardashian, who everybody thinks is the best thing since white socks on this earth. That she's so rich and she has all these cars and stuff. But we must all, if those of us who have morals, we should remember her past and talk to our daughters and even our sons about wanting to idolize people like that. Let her have her thing. As far as I'm concerned, let her enjoy that. Because those things come to an end. That's how Courtney's time came to an end. She's now in prison. I'm going to see her in the court clothes. She's an ordinary little pretty little girl, not this bombshell that she was on thing. All the platinum hair is faded away and everything else, right? A whole lot of fake. This is for the young men. A lot of fake. They put on a persona, the eyelashes, the extreme makeup, the fake behind, the fake boobs. You know, we need to be careful what we're idolizing. Christine.
Wow. Cheryl, that is quite a bit of information, and thank you for bringing me up to speed. I just, in preparation for today, I started looking at one of the videos, and when you were sharing just now, what came to mind is this story, while the ending is different, to me is reminiscent of the Amber Heard Johnny Depp case
Yes.
recently. The let's call it the plaintiffs, the 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 person who is going to be judged, who is in prison at this point in time, the behavior, the erratic behavior, the control, it actually sounds almost like the same person. So to me, I'm wondering if there is some mental, emotional break that has occurred. I don't know the young lady's story, but something is very out of whack with someone who behaves in that way with someone else, whether it's a male friend or a female friend, because we have seen recently in the headlines that
Yes.
it's even women against women, supposed to be best friends. So it's very disturbing that young people are going down this path. Now, how people get their money, there are quite a number of paths, legal and illegal. So I won't go into those, where people can create income, and there are people who make money over a period of years, and some of it, while not as long term as when you and I were coming up, those are legal as well. And then, of course, there's some illegal. But what you are describing this morning sounds so much like that Amber Heard story that I'm wondering, Can you tell me, because I don't know, what her content was like? What kind of creator, what kind of content creator was she, or is she?
But the thing about it, the similarity to Amber is just he climbed to fame quickly, right? They didn't do
Right.
the same thing because Amber actually acted in movies, right? So her
Mm-hmm.
money came from a legitimate source, as it's good. No, Courtney's one wasn't it was also a legitimate source, but the type of source, right? Because OnlyFans, when somebody said you can do adult content, if you use your imagination and think about it,
Mm-hmm.
if I
Yes, I
just
know
sit,
what
I'm
it
an
is.
adult and I smile, I open a fans account. You think anybody will? You think by next week I have $1,000 in my bank account for that? No, I have to take some stuff off, right? And not just take it off. If you look at some of her videos where she slowly pulled the bikini, but she barely was wearing anything, but she's pulling it down, she's pulling these panty side up, and she's turning her thing, and she's coming out the pool with just a little string to it. And of course, I'm sure it was more than this that. Because what I saw on her from her Instagram page, at Instagram allow, that is like almost like a norm with any of those girls who with a fake behind and stuff will pose and do that kind of thing. So she had to be doing more than that. I was trying to read up a little bit more on what the OnlyFans is about. And it just says here on Google that it's a content mainly created by YouTubers, fitness trainers, models, content creators, public figures in order to monetize their profession. So if your profession is posing naked, that's your profession. Or maybe showing body parts, or maybe creating doing sex acts, because we know that's a thing. Online for men to look at, or and women, I guess. It is what they do, right? So there are different levels. But these young women, and it's not the first time I've heard about it, these young women
Okay.
become very, very rich very quickly. And that is the drawing card. It is the proverbial love of money. Not we need to have money to do things. That climate wanting to be somebody. We all want money. Wanting to be somebody, want to have a nice bank account. Wanting to be something for a train. Not that. I'm talking about want it in an instant. And then the fame comes along with it. And to me, she couldn't handle it. With Amber's, I think Amber tried to use Johnny as her step ladder, but because she, she took they took substances. That's known, so I'm not spreading thing about anybody. Substances and the alcohol plays with your mind, and when you feel you're not getting what you want as quickly as you want to, you begin to become um, ABUSIVE to the people around you, right? You begin to ill-treat the people in that aggressive kind of a way, which is what she did to Johnny. And she was trying to record it to say that was for their therapy, but it ended up turning against her. Same as how Shankwella people try to record them beating her and it ended up being against her because God is not asleep, right? So I think this girl, it seems as though her fame, because remember she was literally a nobody, yeah? Her fame, she doesn't really have a claim to fame in any way, in any big way. So she just got famous for the money she could spend and go to the clubs at night and drink and take substances and live in this fancy apartment for $10,000 a month overlooking, I think, Biscayne Bay and whatever else that she was living. So she could live that
Mm-hmm.
lifestyle. People sometimes, my father had a way. He used to say, let me tell you something, don't look what people have, you don't know what they do to get it. He said if they live in a little wooden shack with 2 rooms, they might have more integrity than the person living up on the hill in the big fancy castle. You don't know. Find about who people are first. Because you see, people no longer think about those things. I guess some parents don't say those things to their children anymore. So you can say, oh, she's a model. Wow, she's pretty boy. Oh, everything fake, eh? And she live in this, oh, she's driving this car. She has this money. And all they look at is the money and the big house. That's why I see people boasting, right? That guy did this in Romania who did just arrested, who was doing whatever he's doing with girls, whatever it is. I can't remember his name right now, the bald-headed guy. He boasted how many Maseratis he had, how many cars he had, right? Because that is their that's who they are with all those things, they are nobody. At least they don't think that they're somebody. I think everything kind of got to her head. So it's the same thing but different. Fame, trying to get fame, and just the idea of the money and running after the money quickly caused them to lose their sense of normalcy. right? I do know there were mental problems there. She didn't seem like she had any mental problem. She just felt she just seemed to be young and didn't know any better. And she thought that her money entitled her to do anything. You know, sometimes meet people. You know, we had a certain businessman trainer whose son did that to people for many years, right? He called for pizza at the house and called for home delivery. And when they came, he put all these big dogs on them, and then they stopped going there. And remember how his demise, how he ended up coming from Zen nightclub one night, and he and his motorbike, both of them became a twin on the road going home, because evil doesn't last forever. He did that because he was just rich. Father was rich and he's just being wicked. So sometimes that is what happens to people. They become erratic and crazy. And I think that God is a smart God, you know. I mean, why would he put in the same word of God where he says to us that money answered all things? And in that same thing in Hebrews, he would say the love of money is the root of all evil. He knows what he was saying. But he knows that we need the money. He knows it's okay to like having money. It is okay to want to have money. It's okay to work hard to get money. It's okay. But if you love it more than life, you are going to get yourself involved in the wrong scenario, in the wrong things. It comes very quickly. But as quickly as you get it, it's lost. It's like the Brian Walsh man, right? You rob your own father over $1 million, trying to sell people fake paintings some money. There's nothing wrong with him. Why couldn't he have gotten a job like everybody else and work like everybody else? He certainly had an honorable wife who worked and made good money, right? Why couldn't he have joined her in that real estate business? But no, the love of money. I want to emphasize that today. And that's why God in his wisdom, that's why that is written in the Bible. I know people take it and make all kinds of things. They say love of money, and they're trying to make you feel you don't need to have money. We need to have money. I want money. I want you to have money, Christine, right? But we will do it the right way. We will work hard, listen to God's voice, honor others, empower our trainings, our teachings, our coachings, and make our money in an honorable way. I'm not looking at anybody's mansion. I would say my 3-bedroom house, and I'd be very comfortable in here because I'm one body. I sleep on one bed and one room when the night comes. I have 2 extra rooms, right? Extra big living room that nobody sits in, right? Because there's too much space in the house. So I don't need a mansion with 15 rooms and 10 bathrooms. I don't need it. Okay? But some of them think that that's the only way they can become somebody. And that's the essence of what happened with people like Courtney Clenney, Amber Heard, and all the others like them who trade their soul for these material things.
Really a very worrying, and if it's happening more than, I'm sure it's happening more often than we see, because this is just the tip of the iceberg, but it's a very worrying trend. And our children, see these things. We hope that as parents of younger ones, as they come up, as they're aware of these trends, because, I remember many years ago when television became very popular, and then both parents were working, and suddenly the television was taking care of the kids because it kept them company and occupied.
Now it's this.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. But the thing is, we still have to be very much aware that we have to invest the time to have conversations with our children. We have to invest the time to build strong, loving relationships with our children, and of course, by extension, their friends, etc. Because there's so many children out there, Cheryl, who don't have that mentorship in their own homes. As someone quite rightly informed me more than 6 years ago, said, Christine, when you say the word home, that with it comes love and companionship and caring, etc. But just remember that definition is not the same for everyone. So be careful when you are saying home. But as adults, where we can, in an agape way, extend love to folks outside of our immediate families. We're called to do that as well. Called to give guidance, not in an ABUSIVE way,
Yeah.
but in a caring, loving. Whether someone takes the advice or not, that's not for us. We're not here to force anything on anyone. So it's a very disturbing trend, and magnifying um, lots of these folks who have, you see, and lots of times the life that we see on TV or on social is not really the life. So one person can have two personas, one before the camera, one. I remember this girl from Trinidad said that. Um, I'll remember her name. She's a singer, very, very famous, Douglas girl. I can't remember her name right now. But anyways, she said,
Mhm.
in my normal life, I don't dress like that. In my normal life, I'm in sweats. I'm sitting here at my workstation, running my business, making deals, calling people. I have a manager, and we are building out my business. So what you see, I think it's Kim, what you see on the stage, that's a persona I created for the
Mhm.
audience. So we have to
Yeah.
be very careful about what we believe are real people, because so often they are not. And this brings us into an interesting segue. You were
Yes.
talking about, um, you know, adult content and what happens on these platforms, etc. And Carnival is about to happen in our beautiful Twin Island Republic,
Right.
Cheryl.
But before we go there, before we get there, we're gonna talk about that kind because that all of that has an influence on. You see, this is what our people of all ages, and the reason why I keep saying because people like to say young people, but let me tell you something. I deal with women of all ages, and I can tell you something. This influence a lot of those women who we think would have passed that stage are still in that stage of looking at these people. We are bombarded now on every time you turn on you cannot listen to the news without hearing Kim Kardashian's name, right? And then she show her house and everything, all the cars are gray, and all the cars are the same color, and all the things. I mean, how many cars she drives? I don't even know if she even drives a car. But all these things, and you see people look at them and like, wow, Kim is so successful. She's doing so good in business. Yeah, right. But she sold her soul to get her business. Right? She did. And I can anybody tell me she sold her soul to get her business. Right? She and her family. And that's what people are saying. That's the reason why I do what I do for a living. That's the reason why I host my conferences. That's the reason why I'm doing one again this year. So I'll talk about it later. That's the reason why we need to continue to do this. One of my biggest dreams right now is to get a group of women together. We need to hold workshops often, at least every quarter. But I need others to come on board with me. You see, this me. I want to. I want to stop that and to get together, right, and host these workshops regularly. Paid workshops, they have to pay to come to it, right? We can keep a minimal cost, but they have to pay to come to it because it's our time and our expertise. And we have to get experts from different areas of life, starting with that mindset, starting with that condition of your mind, starting about bodies and presenting yourself well, starting about health, eating well and taking care of themselves. So, all of these things. And we could have some really good workshops with these things. But one person alone, I can't see one person alone do it. It's because I could talk about mindset. I could talk about personal, I could touch a little bit on health, on eating, but I'm not an expert in those areas, right? I will stay in my lane, right? So where I could just skirt through some of those things. When we're doing those workshops, we need to have experts and then sometimes maybe inviting some doctors to come in, nutritionists to come in and give their real certified opinions on these things and because it is very, very, very needed. It is very needed. right? Because they've been, all of us, not they, we have been bombarded all thing on the internet and everywhere else, and we can't help but see it. And therefore, the same way they want to raise their voice, we need to raise our voices as well against it, right? They could get vexed if they want, but they're raising their voices and they are very, very out there. And we need to raise our voices as well and be out there as well. And before we segue into our carnival thing, which is a big influence on that, going too far with everything, a young man by the name of Tyre Nichols met his demise through some police brutality. And if you heard about it, saw the video. As a mother of sons, let me tell you something. I don't live in America, but it was heartbreaking, and I had to make myself look at it because I know there'll be many takes on it, and I'm going to see for myself. Right? I'm going to see for myself. Now, apparently, his neighborhood was not the best, but he was a decent young man, not doing anything. He had been out. He stopped and took a picture of the sunset, got back into his car to drive home, and the police pulled him over. Now there's a police troop that's called the Scorpion Gang or something like that. They were created to deal with the drug dealers and so in that area. So there were like about 5 of them patrolling that area. He was driving along, right? And maybe they couldn't find any builders to beat upon, and they pulled him over. And he stopped. And when he opened the car, he said, but I didn't do anything. And decided to pull him out of the car. What they did not cater for, on one of the lampposts or something close by, there was a camera that picked up what they were trying to have with their webcam. Some of them were turning it off. They kept turning on and turning it off. Right? And they took that young man out and he kept saying, I didn't do anything. I didn't. Okay, all right. And then they put him to lie on the ground, put his hand behind his back. Tell him, lie on his tummy. He said, I'm lying down. Put your head down, but you keep trying to look to see what they're doing, right? And he kept saying, I didn't do anything, right? And then when he got up, he started to run. I guess he was scared. There were 5 big, strong police officers. He started to run. And they ran him down, caught him as well. And then, of course, they beat him, kick him all in his face. This was caught on camera. And then they used a taser and tased him 6 times in a row. The doctor said, that is what probably could have sent his heart out. Tasing 6 times in a row. And then one of the police officers, and mind you, this wasn't racial, he's a black young man, and these were 5 black police officers. Right? So it wasn't white men this time doing racial profiling. One of them, the one I think who kicked him, because they slowed down the camera, who kicked him in his face, took off his camera, put it back on, to have a conversation with the other 2 next to him. And this was the conversation. He tried to hit me, tried to raise his hand to hit me, and he tried to take my gun out or try to grab at my gun. Not true. So they were now creating a story because he became very limp, very similar to Shankwella. He just was limp. Tried to get up and he fell right back down on his side. The EMT came, and when they came, they just kind of stood by and looked at him, waiting for the ambulance to come. Nobody tried to help him, right? Tried to get up again and he fell again. Took him to the hospital and of course he passed away, right? From his injuries and his heart failing. And I heard something just before I came on here. They said he had a broken neck. So I just thought of Chanquella again. And this time by people who might have known him from his neighborhood, because these are all police officers working there. All young, very young black men. Trained in the Scorpion Gang to get rid of the evil in the area and abusing the authority. Just want to talk about that today because we need to keep on top of some of these things. These things, it might not be my son or your son, but relates to me as a mother. It was just so hard to look at, but I want to see because I don't want to hear something and people just, saying things that they feel that thing happened. And I saw it for my own self. Really sad, 26 years old, no longer here for no reason at all. So that's Chanquella part 2. There's another thing on his mother asked for them not to riot. She said, my son would not want this. Do not. You all could protest if you want to say something, but do not. The rioting and stuff must not happen in my son's name because he would not want that. So anyway, so let's segue into our topic of today. That's all we have to say about those things. And today, you can start. We're talking about the carnival atmosphere and attitude in Trinidad and Tobago. We are about to embark on carnival. In fact, we are in it because the fets are happening. So, Christine, take the floor.
Well, Carnival. I've always promoted Carnival as the best carnival in the world. Bar none. Don't tell me about another countries. This is the home of Carnival. It is the best. Why is it the best? Because, as I tell my North American and European friends, it's participatory. You can literally buy a costume and you can be part of, as our beloved Peter Minshall says, the mass. I love you,
Yes.
Peter.
Yes.
So, you know, the carnival fats, that's a big run up to carnival. It starts all the way back in normal times pre the last pandemic. It would start somewhere in July, August. We would start seeing those carnival fets and the band launches, a lot of excitement, a lot of creativity, a lot of drinking. But
Yes.
it's all part of the festival. And of course, Carnival days, the beauty, the majesty, the splendor of the costumes, it's just breathtaking. So while as I said on my Facebook post this morning, I the why I work out and I make sure that I'm as fit as possible. I'm not a carnival baby, but I'll tell you the majesty, the beauty, the splendor, the music, the energy, the atmosphere, people coming together, Trinidadians, Tobagonians, and
Yes.
people from
Yes.
across the
Yes.
world, bar none. However, what I've been noticing over a number of years is that during the carnival fetes and even on the roads on Carnival Monday and Tuesday, the outfits that women are wearing have become skimpier and skimpier. In fact, just a few years ago, I saw that one woman wore pasties and a string. This was, I was flabbergasted. That's all she wore, and a pair of boots, I guess. But this was there must be a law against that, right? Because I think nakedness in the normal way in the country is against the law. But anyways, and then so that was Carnival Monday, and this is not. I know that traditionally what we've seen in costumes is costumes get skimpier and skimpier and skimpier. I'm talking about that too because there must be there must be a line somewhere. Women, a lot of what makes us beautiful is the mystery of being a woman. Mystery. And if it's not Carnival Monday and Tuesday, then there's the lead up to the fetes, and there is this how shall I describe it? It's just total exposure. And I'm not saying that all women are like this, no. But I'm saying I'm seeing this becoming the norm. Less and less and less clothing. No, I am not a prude, and you are not either. Some buttons undone, tastefully so, not a problem. But now I'm seeing things that barely qualify to be called clothing. So Cheryl, I mean, as I said, you and I are no prudes. We've had our
Oh
day.
no.
We love to look great, right? We love to look happening. We love to look fabulous when we step out. But I don't know. Do you agree with me? Have we gone too far with the nakedness? What's your take on it? I think we have.
As a masquerade of many, many, many years, I don't do it anymore. I always played because to me the mask was about the costume, the design, the title of the band, the meaning behind the everything, right? That's where I was back in the day. I mean not back in the day, I mean I'm not old. I mean when I used to play math, I can't because what I have now is different to what I did back in the day. And I played with Minshall, I played with Greenback a couple of times. But our favorite one most of the time, my sister and I would play with Stephen Leon. They would have a theme and there'd be a full costume. Now we did wear bathing suits, but we wore stockings and there was some kind of skirt over. It might have been share or something, you know. So there was some exposure of the legs and stuff, but never fully naked. And you're talking about a string and pasties. Well, honey child, you have not seen the body paint. The body paint is what they do now, like body paint. So they're literally wearing nothing but a pair of boots, but they paint the body. Okay, so every single thing is outside. You are naked. See that on YouTube. NAKED, nada, zilch, nothing, zero. You're wearing nothing, right?
Wow.
And that's where it has become. But I mean, there were always the extremists, there were always the exhibitionists, there were always the extremists, there were always those who will play in a carnival and somebody lying on the side you would drunk. There were always those who drank too much. I never drank anything. I had my little pouch of my little thing to sip on, and that will last me until I finish paying my mass. But there are people who overdo it and everything. So carnival is not a drunken festival, people like to say. There are those who will do it regardless. I've been to jazz and see people get drunk. Okay? I've been to nice carnival parties like in UE and stuff, and I've seen people get drunk. But there are people who just always overdo it. There are those of us who go and sip a drink, look nice, have a nice time, wear a little slit, right? Wear a little, show your little leg, but you don't have to overdo it. But you see, the cue comes from those, what we're looking at again, those influencers. And not just that, look at our female artists, our soca artists, our female artists. They're wearing less and less every single year. There was a time people like Denise Plummer was singing, and she wore a lovely long dress and whatever. I mean, Calypso Rose, I know as an old lady. I don't know Calypso Rose very young. I don't since I know to me she was always a big woman, right? So she would like to wear her African gowns and stuff. So that's different, right? But I'm talking about the younger ones, like the I don't call anybody name, but the younger ones, right? But some of them are not so young anymore, you know. They're not mothers of teenage children and that kind of thing. But their costumes have gone from nice little short outfits, a nice little short skirt and something, to literally barely nothing. And I wonder why. So then the patrons who go to these parties now feel they must go to that. But I'll tell you what, there are those and there are those. Because if you go to a nice all-inclusive party, you'll be hard pressed to find somebody naked like that. That person must stand like a sore thumb. You see women nicely dressed. They got a little cleavage showing a little something, but never out of taste. Right? If you go to Army Fete or Flour Mills Fete or those other kind of fetes, you're sure to find that happening because people say you mustn't categorize, but that is the kind of people who go to those things because they feel they have to prove a point, right? The moment, and you think about all the men, it was amazing, wearing full clothes. They may take off the shirt when after by the fitting, but they're wearing a full pants. And all the women, all the derriere and all the frontal part, the private part outside. It's so amazing that the men never get naked and the women always get naked. And most of the songs the men sing about what women's, behind. There's one that's very, very cool. I heard it for Christmas. Christmas, by this DJ near to me here, and they were playing the soca because as soon as boxing, they started with the kind of thing. Something about saltfish, and something about eating saltfish. And the woman take the saltfish and he'll get real mad. And that is a very nasty song, but I can bet you a lot of women will be loving it and will be dancing to the party. So they have those and they have those. So the carnival to me is divided. Depending on where you go and who you hang out with, you will see certain things and certain places you wouldn't see certain things. And that's how I see it, right? The carnival is not, our carnival is the best. Our carnival is real carnival. All the others have adopted things from our carnival. We have real design and costumery, right? And that's where the upper hand we have on the other carnivals. So we are the carnival of the world. We are the land of carnival, steel band, calypso, and soca. We are that land of fun. When people just meet you and talk to you in the street like that, and just make friends with you just like that, because it's carnival and the music's sweet, and they're just in a happy mood, and they just come and talk to you. And to me, that's the part of the carnival that I love. The fact that you walk down, you decide to go into some carnival Tuesday and take a walk, and every single person is your friend.
Of
It's
course.
amazing. I don't know if why they can't stay like that right through Christmas. Has that some of that to it, where people kind of like in a good mood and hi, how are you? They smile at you, but it's a happy time. So it spills up from the carnival,
Right.
get even wider in the carnival time. So we are a very happy, really happy, fun people in Trinbago. We are. But they are the extremists. I think some of the soca artists need to tone down a little bit. And some of these young ladies, I don't know why they don't understand what it means for a man to respect a woman. I don't know why. You just stop patronizing those songs with those lyrics. Stop dancing to those things. And you can wear your shorts. I wore shorts and I still wear shorts. I love to wear my shorts. But there's a length to go to, right? According to you, I don't know. There should be a full stop somewhere. Like stop using that kind of thing in when the writing said they don't put full stops anymore or commas, a pause and a full stop. There need to be full stops somewhere where people understand. Okay, my top skimpy. If my top is skimpy and I'm going into my image consultancy role here now, if the top is
Yes.
skimpy because you have the stomach for it, then the pants or the skirt need to be full and long. If the pants is short, then you wear a nice long sleeve top with it. You balance off your outfit. You don't have a bra on and then a panty on. That's not how you go in the street unless you go into bed to lie down or inside of your house and in private. There must be balance. That's why they have like high waist skirts and nice lovely thing, and that's lovely just with cutouts and stuff. So you show a little bit, that's sexy, that's nice, but you're not revealing your whole self.
Right.
How about, and that's why I always talk about it because, like I said, those people are out there. They're loud what they're doing. So I'm gonna be loud by telling you, listen to me. And don't come and tell me I old so I can do what I want. It has nothing to do with age. It has everything to do with integrity and morals. And women have to understand that those men who don't know how to respect women, who will sing a song like that, those are men that women shouldn't even speak to. Those are men you should pass straight and just call the police. If he say, hi, how are you? You call the police for him. Because if you could sing a song like that and be on a stage with that, I don't want to be near you. It means you have no respect. You probably don't have a mother, a sister, none of those things you don't have. Right? So I am offended by those things. That's why people like Kess will always be my soca artist.
Yes.
And Voice and a couple of the others. That's why I always like him, Bungie and his wife. That's why I always like him. I could call the names, The others, I don't care for them. Because why you think you have to degrade a woman's private part, call it some kind of name, and sing a nasty long song about it? Why? Yes, Christine. I could talk for you today about this.
I know. But from the image consultancy perspective, I agree with you. You balance things off. I remember, I don't know if you knew her, there's this young lady on, is it TikTok or YouTube shorts? She talks about dressing modestly, beautiful African American girl. I mean, stunning. And when she says dressing modestly, she doesn't, and I know it's two different things because carnival is one thing and normal everyday wear is something else. But talking about the mystery of being a woman and beauty and so on, just leaving something to the imagination adds to the mystery of what God created us to be, something that's different, something that's beautiful, ethereal even. And
Yes.
there's a lot to be said for that. So I'm looking forward because guess what, guys? Cheryl and I are headed to a carnival fete, and we are going to look
Why are you talking our business
amazing.
here? Why are you talking our business here?
I'm not going to tell them where we're going, but we are going to look amazing. And yeah, we're going to have a great time. So, ladies, listen, you don't have to get naked to have a great time partying. We're not saying that all women in Trinidad dress like this. That's not true. So it's a section of the community, bigger section that I would like to think. But again, as you say, Cheryl, it comes back oftentimes to seeing what's happening outside of Trinidad and Tobago, assuming that what's fashionable, what's sexy outside there really is, and aligning oneself with maybe particular brands, because that's what many people are out there. That's what a lot of the influencers are out there. What they are brands. And the brand could be different from the person's regular life. So just bear that in mind. Um, Oftentimes they're not one and the same. But I'm looking forward to going out and having a great time. I'm not, as I said before, I'm not a carnival person, so I'm not going to be out there on the roads carnival Monday or Tuesday. Safe, I just wish safety and happiness for all those revelers who will spend thousands and thousands and thousands and, oh yeah, thousands of dollars to have a great time over those 2 days. And just be safe, guys. Remember that we are not yet out of the woods in terms of the global pandemic. And we have to take responsibility for our own, because I'm always going to tell you about health and well-being, and we've got to take responsibility for our individual health and well-being. Carnival will come, carnival will happen, it will be amazing, and then carnival will end, and then we still have to go back out to work and be productive to keep our countries going. So we would all like to be safe and healthy, not just for ourselves, but for our parents, grandparents, our children. And that would be my encouragement. I've been talking to quite a few people, Cheryl, when I get picked up to take me to various meetings and so on. And I'm saying to it's like Uber, and I'm saying to them, so tell me, what are you seeing out there? Are you seeing people wearing masks? Are you guys wearing masks? Are you seeing, if you've been to any parties, are you seeing people out there with masks or anything like that? And they're saying no, everybody's just totally open. um, you know, well, of course, no social distancing. One would hope that at least the hand washing is in place. But, we will wait to see what happens after. But I do wish everyone well, and that everyone has an amazing time.
Yes, I would say go and have a good time. It's a time for that. And we need to relax a little bit because we know life is stressful. We've
Hmm.
been through 3 years of hell. So life is stressful. Go out and have a good time. But do things in moderation. Do not get carried away with nonsense. Be careful who you're accepting drinks from. If
Correct.
you get up and leave a drink there, do not continue to drink when you come back, right? Unless you walk with a drink in your hand. You can carry a drink in the bathroom and put a napkin over it and cover it. Let me tell you something. You could carry it with you. It's yours. It's your whatever urine or whatever it is. Don't let nobody take the car. You could cover that cup. Because it's the exhaust to it that could go into things. If you cover it up, it will be all right. Okay? So don't leave it for somebody thing or drink it off and then go to the bathroom. If you feel they can't finish it, when they come back, do a new drink. Don't trust anybody. Right? So everything in moderation. Wear your sexy, but please don't be naked. And let us push men. Let us push men to respect us again. Let us push men to understand what a woman is again. Let us push men to understand that they need to respect us. We don't need them if they can't respect us. We don't want them if they don't respect us. Let us push for that. So whoever hears
Absolutely.
this, I hope they hear. Yes, let
100%.
us push that, right? Right? So, Christine, in closing, I want to say, brought to you by our proud sponsor, Christine Francois. Talk about your business a little bit. You
So
sponsor
yes,
ourselves?
folks. Yes, we're sponsoring ourselves until others want to sponsor us. But Christine Francois, wellness coach. So if you are looking to have an accountability partner to get the mindset right in terms of how to eat, how to set up systems to help your body become well and to supplement as well, then I'm the person for you. And Cheryl?
Linktree /Christine Francois. Is right and another thing there. Linktree /Christine Francois. Spelled the same way there.
Yes.
I will continue to pursue my efforts that God, the chance God has given me to speak to women about the overall holistic branding, even if they walk and they talk. I'm having my conference, this is my third conference, on the 13th of May, 2023. I'll give you all the venue at some before the end, by the end of the month, right? I have it already, but I just want to confirm some things. And it's going to be on, it's a VIP day for women. Come, be inspired, be motivated by women who could tell you stories about themselves and how they got up off the floor, right? Be influenced by me. I'll talk to you about your personal brand. We're going to have some fun. We're going to have some fashion. And we're going to have some wonderful, wonderful vendor booths where you could get to see things all related to up leveling your life. So that's on the 13th of May, right? And if you want to connect with me, my link tree is also there. Linktree/Cheryl Diane Speaks. My name is spelled D-I-A-N in the middle. So Cheryl Diane Speaks. You go there and there's a form there where you could join my newsletter, or you could just message me that we could have a 30-minute chat. That 30-minute chat is free. You could have a free 30-minute one-on-one tete-a-tete. Let's see where you need help. And that's it. And that's all we have to say about that this week. So ladies, please be ladies. Please be upstanding women. A woman doesn't need to be sexualized. A woman doesn't need to expose her body. Your parts are private. Your body is a temple. Just remember that. So we'll see you all again. Same time, same channel next week. See you again next week.